Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another episode review from Season 5 of The Loud House. Today's episode is titled Broadcast Blues. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into it. The episode begins with Lincoln and his friends trying to do their action news team show, but they're having technical difficulties because of the aging equipment. Their total jerk of a classmate Chandler offers them brand new equipment, but only if he's allowed to join the news team. However, his on-screen contributions are anything but professional, and Lincoln and his friends want Chandler fired. After inadvertently eavesdropping on Chandler's microphone and finding out he's been selling items from the sewer plant owned by his dad in order to pay for the new technical gear, the kids set up a sting operation and threaten to expose their classmate's shady business deals unless he quits the club. Chandler does end up quitting, but he takes all of the news equipment he bought with him. The episode ends with the news team trying to broadcast the show from their phones, with some hilarious technical difficulties, and Chandler gets his comeuppance in the form of a skunk. Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. I'm just going to come right out with it and say the moment I saw Chandler's name in the synopsis, I knew nothing super great was going to come out of this, and as I predicted, I was right. There's really only one reason why this episode turned out the way it did, and that would be Chandler himself. The disappointing thing about his character is there's nothing redeeming about him. He turned out to be alright at the end of the season 3 episode Jeers for Fears, and it looked like he had turned over a new leaf, but if there's one thing I learned about bullies both in cartoons and during my time in school, their moment of redemption is sometimes just an act, and they'll go right back to how they were as if nothing had happened. That's pretty much how I view Chandler throughout the series, and I'd love to see someone prove me wrong. It's obvious no one in school likes him as a friend, and the way he acted in front of the camera with his unprofessional behavior and practically humiliating his classmates makes it all too clear. Then again, they don't hate him enough to turn down his parties when he sends out invites like he did in the episode The Waiting Game, so there's that. Anyway, I'm guessing he only wanted to join the news team as his way of trying to get back at everyone for telling him to be quiet while they were trying to watch the news, even though he was the one being obnoxious the entire time. No matter the reason, I do give some credit to his plan to join and subsequently stay on the news team. He knew the equipment was going bad, and he could just weasel his way onto the team by getting all new cameras, microphones, and a freaking satellite. I don't blame Lincoln or his friends for putting up with Chandler for as long as they did. They really liked doing the news, and they worked hard to keep it alive back in Kernel of Truth. Not to mention their classmates are very much interested in watching their show every day, even in the new format towards the end of this episode. They wanted to keep doing something they loved, and unfortunately Chandler was their go-to guy for things they needed to keep their show on the air. I guess that's the benefit of having someone operate an underground business, which brings me to a very compelling thought. When it's revealed Chandler had been making money by selling off whatever he finds at his dad's sewer plant, it got me thinking about his appearance in the Christmas episode Season's Cheatings. And this episode now validates the kind of character he is when he's not in school being a jerk. He's like a TV Y7 version of a mafia gang member or goods dealer who can hook you up with something you need, and his phone calls, especially the one on the hot mic, telling his clients they're toast if his dad ever finds out what he's been doing, is quite disturbing, but also a little interesting. Let's be real, he may be a jerk, but he's not stupid when it comes to making money. Although he was kinda stupid to not see past the obvious disguises during the sting operation, but maybe Rusty truly did nail the fake girlfriend audition better than Stella. In the end, I'm sorta surprised the writers didn't go for the ending where Chandler caves to Lincoln and his friends by saying he'll quit the club and let the news team keep all the new equipment he bought if it meant never having to show his father the exposed video evidence of his shady business dealings. It would have been a better moment of justice for the action news team for having dealt with Chandler, and maybe it could have given this jerk a tiny amount of redemption with him reflecting on the error of his ways. Instead, Chandler takes back everything he bought, which in fairness he had every right to do so, and his karma is opening his locker and getting sprayed by a skunk he planned to use on his former co-workers. It may not be the best punishment, and it's obvious he didn't really learn anything at the end, but even a small amount of punishment is better than no punishment at all. Overall, this episode episode isn't anything too special, and that's mostly because of Chandler. Even though I admit he shows a more cunning and shady side to his character as a guy who has the stuff if you have the money, it's just not enough to save the story with his intentional condescending attitude. The story could have been saved if he allowed the news team to keep all the new high-tech equipment he bought if it meant never having the video evidence of his business dealings be made public. Sadly, the ending we got left me very underwhelmed, knowing a perfectly good opportunity for Chandler to redeem himself was wasted, and with him learning no lesson in spite of what happened. Other than him, Lincoln and his friends were alright with their respective and collective roles, and they still got to keep their new show going, even though it needs to lay off with the face filters and FaceTime calls. With that said, I give Broadcast Blues a 5 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Broadcast Blues. Indeed, this episode did leave me feeling a little blue myself, but there was one good thing to come out of this episode. Never give Chandler a starring role ever again, but if it does happen again, it needs to be a serious upgrade from what we were given here. So what did you guys think of it? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.